And now we'll go to the quote phase of this wizard experience. Perhaps the first thing you'll notice on this page is that the region of the form delegated to the marketing department has changed. Since form parts allow for separation of concerns, the marketing department has greater agility to decide not only what content to put in front of users, but also when. In this case, perhaps IBM Web Analytics have been used, and to mitigate abandonment between the quote and the buy steps, marketing has decided that it's time to ask the user to sign up for notifications of special promotions and sales as another way to establish an ongoing relationship or a comeback with the potential customer. Within the main Form web application, this page demonstrates how forms can present results to users based either on calculations built into the form or perhaps on business rules managed on the server side and accessed through web services. In this case, we have the key values that have been entered by the user that are used to determine the cost quote for the desired insurance. The user is also enabled to adjust a few more of the optional components of the policy itself, such as the liability limit or the deductible. On the right of the liability limit, this page demonstrates how interactive HTML content can be used directly on the face of the form. In this case, a Dojo slider widget has been placed on the face of the form, and the user interaction with the custom Dojo content causes things to be data values to be directly injected into the form, and at which point they will percolate out using the same business rules to adjust the quote value, just as if the user had directly typed this value for themselves. Incidentally, this is the kind of content where you establish this hookup between this custom content and the rest of the form as a form part, which can then be made available in the IBM Forms designer so that form authors can drag and drop this kind of behavioral component wherever they need in whichever forms they need it in. Pretty much any Web 2.0 interactive widgets can be placed on the face of the form in this way, or they can also be incorporated into a pop-up dialog if that gives a better form layout. For example, if I press this feedback button, it will bring up a rich HTML text editor in a dialog. So I can type, for example, "I think this is great" into this editor, and then I can apply bold, italic, underline types of effects. You can control text color, superscripts, subscripts, bulleted and numbered lists, and font effects. For example, I can make this great really big because I think it's great. And you can even add links. So if I click the word think, I can add a Wikipedia link, and wikipedia.org wiki, and I can show you what it means to think, which in this case will show you a picture of the famous thinker sculpture, because after all, thinking is what sculptures do. In any case, whenever I'm done with the edit experience for that rich text, the rich HTML text will go into the data layer of this form and be saved as part of the form fill experience. It can even be presented on the face of the form as part of what can get printed, and we'll see that when we go to the next page of this experience, which is the classic sort of 8.5 by 11 style of page. But before we leave this page, I'd just like to point out that the rich HTML text editor that I just showed you in the dialog could also have been placed directly on the face of the form as extension content, just as we've done with this Dojo slider here. So now we're going to let the user transition from the quote phase to the purchase phase of the application, where we can see that classic style form.